So first and foremost, credit to my man Adam, who sent me a message via Facebook today to inform me of the following news. He said that he had heard that Joseph Parker versus Carlos Takam was no longer an IBF final eliminator, as had been originally reported, and instead it was just an eliminator. At the same time, Derek Chisora versus Kubrat Pulev is also an eliminator, and the two will then have to fight after the results of those fights in a final eliminator. Now, I've seen several reports of this on Twitter. None of them have been overly mainstream sources, so I'm going to say at present that this is unconfirmed, but there were a number of people attributing a quote to the IBF saying that the winner of Takam versus Parker would have to fight the winner of Chisora versus Pulev in an IBF final eliminator. So it was reported in numerous sources, and also it ties in with the fact that the IBF just released their top 15 list, and they didn't include a number 1 or a number 2. Potentially that's because the winner of these two eliminators will take those places. I still think that's an odd system, but regardless, I've done that in a previous video, so I won't go into it. Now, I had certainly reported on my channel previously that Takam versus Parker was a final eliminator, and therefore that the winner of that fight would have the automatic right to fight the IBF champion in a mandatory that would be called early 2017. I guess the presumption for many fans is that would lead to the clash between Anthony Joshua and Joseph Parker. Joseph Parker is a favourite to beat Carlos Takam, and that's a competitive fight. That's by no means a certainty, which I'm going to break down in further videos to come ahead of that matchup, definitely. So I guess Parker fans may be slightly disconcerted that not only does he have to come through his biggest test to date in Carlos Takam, but he'll also have to come through the winner of Kubrat Pulev Chisora. And both of those are interesting fights. I'd make Parker a favourite over Chisora, but Chisora at his best does have a style that is very, very unique and different in the context of today's modern heavyweight division. That sort of getting low, bobbing and weaving, Diet Joe Fraser style he has, where he throws a lot of hooks and tries to get up into the pocket and take your space away from you, can be hard to deal with. And for a younger fighter who's got less pro experience like Joseph Parker, whilst Parker would be a favourite with his boxing capability and with his power, it would certainly provide a test, that style. At the very least, it would provide a test. Secondly, Kubrat Pulev is, you've got to say, Kubrat Pulev is clearly a favourite to beat Chisora, and that would be a very, very, very big step up for Parker. I'd go as far as to say that Kubrat Pulev would actually be a more dangerous fight than Takam. I know Pulev didn't look good against Vladimir Klitschko, but that's against Vladimir Klitschko, who, as we know, is an all-time great heavyweight. Pulev is a dangerous, dangerous fighter on his day, and he's got a relatively solid list of names on his record pre that Klitschko fight. He beat Tony Thompson, he beat Dimitrenko, he beat Ustinov. I'm not saying Pulev is a world beater, but I am saying that in the context of today's heavyweight division, he's certainly in the conversation of, 6th, 7th, 8th in the rankings, those sort of places. And Kubrat Pulev has some tools that could potentially upset Joseph Parker. As we know, Pulev is a very, very high-class amateur. He's probably best known for having a world-class jab. And whilst Pulev maybe doesn't have the speed, the athleticism, and the power of a Joseph Parker, he may be more technically refined and more solid in that sense. So, I have to say, if Kubrat Pulev fought Joseph Parker now, whilst I'd see it as a 50-50 fight, it wouldn't surprise me if Kubrat Pulev opened in that fight as a slight favourite, actually. So it'll be interesting. I certainly don't think Chisora or Pulev, whoever wins that fight, will travel to New Zealand to fight Parker. More likely that fight takes place in England, Germany, the States, something of that nature. So I actually think it would be a good learning fight for Parker regardless. It'd be a good experience for him to travel away from home and fight someone of their nature. And if Parker went through Takam and then went through Kubrat Pulev, let's say for argument's sake, then Parker would legitimately put himself in the conversation of the top 10, probably even higher than that, probably top 5 or 6. Which would be a great experience before taking on a world title shot. But I guess Parker fans are going to be disappointed that it actually looks like it's going to be a much longer route to the world heavyweight title than originally anticipated. I'm interested to hear from people in the know. You know, this was news to me today. I looked into it, I ran a search on Twitter and did it on Google, and there seems to be quite a few sources saying that this is the case, and that the final eliminator will be the Chisora Pulev winner versus the Parker Takam winner. So let me know, is this news to you? Were you under the impression initially that Parker Takam was a final eliminator, as I certainly was under the impression? Are you annoyed as a Joseph Parker fan? Are you annoyed as a Derek Chisora fan? You know, let me know your thoughts, and how do you think it will all play out? If you've enjoyed this video, please hit the thumbs up button. If you're new to the channel, do subscribe. Many thanks for watching.